Asking you're listening to another episode of Mystery Show. Thank you for tuning in for a new few minutes every day for our minute tell mystery. Also, make sure to click that shall make sure to help print. If you like to support the works and go into create a history show, you can always do it by joining our Patreon account for a little on $1 a month at patreon.com. Or you can follow or link our website at www.historyshow.com. Having settled that, the term femme fatale stemmed from French word deadly woman and epitomized the male fantasy of predatory sexuality. Irresistible and completion of riddle and just somehow chanting a victim with the bonds of desire when it comes to the so-called bad girl of the Bible. Arguably none deserve the title more than Jezebel, a murderer, prostitute, and enemy of God. Here is the rest of that story. Yesterday, December 7th, Mr. Cobb, Jezebel background as a Phoenician princess shaped her identity values of the role she would later play as the Queen of Israel. She was the daughter of Isabel, the king of Sidon, a city-state in the powerful maritime civilization of Phoenicia, or modern-day Lebanon. Ethelbald was not only a king but also a priest of the goddess Astarte, demonstrating the deeply intimate nature of political and religious leadership in Phoenician society. Ethelbald himself had risen to power through a bloody coup, highlighting the political turbulence of his reign and the emphasis on power consolidation that may have influenced Jezebel's character and action. A marriage of Halhab, king of the northern kingdom of Israel, was likely arranged as part of a strict alliance. Such marriages were common in the ancient Near East, serving to strengthen diplomatic and trade relations between neighboring states. Israel's northern territory for the mutual economic and military benefit, particular access to Phoenician trade network and resources such as Pim, Cedar of Lebanon. However, Jezebel's influence is extended up beyond politics. As Phoenician places, Jezebel grown immense of the worship of Baal, the storm of fertility god, and Asheron, a mother goddess often associated with Baal in the Canaanite pantheon. This deity is central to Phoenician culture, with elaborate ritual, sacrifice, and temple worship underpinning the original practice. When Jezebel became a queen, she brought her religion with her, not just a personal belief system, but as a dominant political and cultural force. As the era of Pompedal, Jezebel actively promoted the worship of Baal and Ashur in Israel, building temples and altars and supporting hundreds of prophets who served these gods. This was dramatic departure from a worship of God of Israel, who recording Hebrew covenant was to be worshipped exclusively. Jezebel's action directly violated Esper's commandment, "We shall have no other God before we," and set her in direct conflict with the religion, law, and tradition that define Israel's identity. Others bring the first notch on her not so great reputation, in this case as a murderer. Jezebel actively sought to eliminate and worship Israel God by exterminating prophet, forcing many to hide in caves to escape her wrath. Her action demonstrates not only her hatred for the followers of the religion, but also established Baal worship as her dominant religion Israel. First, but a calculated political move on consolidated power, as the Jewish prophet represents a spiritual and cultural resistance to her influence. Elijah, one of the most prominent of these prophets, became a direct target of Jezebel's wrath. Dramatic victory over Jezebel, prophet of Baal, at Mount Carmel, where he called down fire from heaven to demonstrate Jewish God's power. Jezebel both killed him. Ultimately, her villain pursued forced Elijah to flee into the wilderness. Still, one of Jezebel's most notorious crimes is her role in the murder of Nabal, a righteous man who owned the bind near King Ahab's palace. But Nabal refused to sell it, citing heresy that on the road Moses Jezebel took matters into her own hand. She forged a letter in Ahab names, accusing not blasphemy against God and the king, a crime, you guessed it, punishable by death. Jezebel then arranged for false witness to testify, resulting in execution by stoning. Then there's the crime of prostitution. The biblical depiction of Jezebel often associate her with immorality through this very literal prostitution, in at least a modern sense. Instead, this is a occasion symbolic, reflecting her role as a promoter by idolatry and spiritual corruption. Idolatry by a dream worship of idol. In the Bible reader view, idolatry of the often likened to adultery or prostitution. Jezebel's jealous promotion of Baal worship was seen as leading Israel into spiritual adultery against the Jewish rich God Yahweh. Bible as a jealous husband to Israel, supporting Baal prophet. Pagan ritual. Jezebel was portrayed as reducing Israel away from its covenant with God. Jezebel's depiction as harlot also served as a broader symbol of her perceived shamelessness, defiance, and misuse of power. Her influence over Ahab and her ability to bend others to her will, whether through intimidation, charm, or ruthlessness, made her a figure of fear and moral condemnation. Calling her a prostitute was more represented her power to corrupt and lead others astray, but political in spirit. Thus, it is kind of misleading term, at least by today's standard. This brings Jezebel finer known act, namely painting her eyes, adorning herself, and confronting Zekiel from a window, a moment that occurs in the second book of King, during the conclusion of Rezane. Ahab dynasty. The scene unfolds against backdrop of political upheaval orchestrated by Jehu, a military commander unknowing by the prophet Elijah of overthrow the house of Ahab. Jehu's mission was not only political but also religious, to abandon the idolatry and the bloodshed associated with Ahab. He wiped Jezebel, particularly the promotion of Baal and the persecution of the Jewish prophet. After killing Jezebel's son, Jehu rode to meet Jezebel. Upon hearing of Jehu's approach, Jezebel did something unexpected. She painted her eye on her head, her position was at a window overlooking the city. The act of painting her eye symbolized the effort to enhance her imperium. She had grown her head possibly by arranging her hair or putting her crown, further emphasizing her royal status. Scholars suggest that Jezebel hoped to seduce or disarm JQ with her beauty and regal presence, relying on her charm to negotiation of distract them. This interpretation as a manipulative figure to usually influence her chief girl. Others still view Jezebel's preparation as an act of defiance. By presenting herself a proud and composed queen, she may have sought maintain her dignity, face refusing to cover adversaries. I guess we'll never know. When Jehu left the palace, Jezebel did not beg for mercy or attempt to flee. She called out to him from the window, asking, "Is it peace, Jimri, mother of your master?" To represent to Jimri, a former user who ruled Israel for 7 days before being overthrown, was a cutting insult. By comparing Jehu to Zimri, Jezebel mocked him, implying that his rebellion would be a failure and disgrace. Now, her words were so someone who had orchestrated political killing herself, Jezebel recognized Jehu's ambition and ruthless, but she also sought to undermine his journey. Mere opportunist rather than a divine chosen leader. Jehu, unfazed by her taunt, called out to her servant, eunuch, standing nearby, and commanded them to throw her down. The eunuchs, apparently ready to betray Jezebel, seized her, threw her. Her body struck the wall and ground such for that the blood splattered on the wall and Jehu's horses, which then trampled his corpse. Jehu then entered the palace, sat down to eat, treating her death with chilling indifference. However, remember the prophet against Jezebel delivered by Elijah, which foretold that her body would be consumed by dog. Jehu had ordered that she be buried because she was, after all, a king's daughter. But when his Menowin recovered the body, they found only her skull, hands, and feet. Dog has devoured the rest, leaving her remain scattered and disgraceful and fulfill Elijah prophecy. Thanks for listening.